And a good day to you. I'm Jonathan Masaki sitting in for Ashley Nagaoka. First at noon, the House Oversight Committee has released a new batch of photos from the Jeffrey Epstein estate. President Trump appears in a number of them that were taken before he took office, along with some other prominent men. Scott McFarland reports from Washington.
It's Democrats on the U.S. House Oversight Committee who have released this subset of images they say they received from the Epstein estate, which was subpoenaed by Congress for records in recent months because of the investigation into the Epstein files matter. In the images, you can see the powerful circles in which Jeffrey Epstein operated many years ago. The images include side-by-side photos, Jeffrey Epstein next to then private citizen Donald Trump, side-by-side with Bill Clinton, with Trump ally Steve Bannon. The images don't show any wrongdoing or malfeasance, but the Democrats on the Oversight Committee say they underscore the importance of this looming deadline of December 19th for the U.S. Department of Justice to release the entirety of the Epstein case files, to show what's in there, to show who operated in close proximity to Epstein, even if they didn't engage in misconduct.
There is a White House cover-up happening right now in not releasing these files. That needs to end. There are women who were raped when they were children, who just want justice.
The Department of Justice has not said how or when it will do this public release of Epstein files. It could be tens of thousands of pages and images. There'll have to be redactions, and it'll have to be made searchable for the public under the law that was recently signed by President Trump. The U.S. House Democrats who pushed out this new set of images say the images show there is a need for more release and more transparency with the public. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
And news of the island. Honolulu police are still looking for suspects and investigating a deadly shooting last night in the Halawa area. Officers were called to the scene on Kohomua Street a short time later for what they say is a related incident. Police say the shooting happened just after 11:30 near Salt Lake Boulevard and Kamehameha Highway. The male victim was treated for multiple gunshot wounds and rushed to a hospital where he later died. Investigators say the suspects fled the second scene in a black vehicle. Anyone with information is asked to call 911 or Crime Stoppers. We now have two more deaths to add to Oahu's traffic fatality count, and both are from crashes that happened months ago. First, police say the 50-year-old motorcyclist involved in a collision with a pedestrian back in July has died from his injuries. Investigators say he was speeding on Waipahu Street in Pearl City when he hit an 18-year-old who was not in a marked crosswalk. The rider was not wearing a helmet at the time. The pedestrian was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Also new this morning, HPD says a 19-year-old man was hit while riding his electronic motorcycle in Waipahu last month has also died. Investigators say a driver crossed into oncoming traffic on Malakeke Street while trying to pass another vehicle and struck the teen. He was not wearing a helmet. These two deaths now count as Oahu's 80th and 81st traffic fatalities of the year. This compared to just 47 last year. On the Garden Isle, state officials are on high alert after Kauai's first presumed case of avian flu. State officials say on November 26th, a kaloa maoli, or Hawaiian duck, was found sick at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Honolulu National Wildlife Refuge Center during an outbreak of avian botulism. It died within 24 hours. State testing showed it was infected with H5N1 avian influenza. Results are being analyzed by a national lab.
A lot of the symptoms that birds that have botulism also present the same with avian influenza. So it's really hard to differentiate between the two. They turned it in for testing, and that's when it was tested positive for avian influenza.
Every bird counts, and it's scary to think of a disease that is really devastating to bird populations. Getting out in Hawaii. The kaloa maoli, that is our most endangered bird.
Statistics show there are 673 of them in 2023, most on Kauai, and they've declined 27% since 2016. Maui County says more than 200,000 gallons of wastewater have overflowed into Kalama Park in Kihei after a mechanical failure at the Kihei wastewater pump station number 6 yesterday. Now, officials say sewage did not enter the ocean or storm drains. Sewage customers from Sugar Beach to Makena are urged to reduce their usage until told otherwise. About a month and a half ago, Corey Kamaka was hit and left for dead on the side of the road in Nanakuli. This morning, his family is still searching for the driver who fled the scene. No arrests have been reported in the case, though HPD and the family have been made aware of possible leads. The 38-year-old was hit and killed along Farrington Highway at Helelua Street as he was riding an e-bike home from work. His family said he was always focused on safety while riding and is hopeful HPD's investigation will lead to justice for Corey.
I wish we had more communication, but we can only receive what they have confirmed, so I just pray that they are doing their best, and hopefully we'll be able to find some answers soon. Nothing solid. There were a few names that were previously mentioned, but those haven't been any successful leads on those as well.
Any tips? Call Honolulu Crime Stoppers at 808-955-8300. And police have charged Joshua Perry Pruski with attempted murder on a law enforcement officer for allegedly stabbing an officer in Waikiki on Tuesday. The officer, who was injured on Kohio Avenue, is said to be in good condition. Perry Pruski's bail is set at $500,000. On Maui, a judge has denied a request from retired firefighter Sean Rogers to dismiss a charge of continual sex abuse of a minor. Court documents claim he started abusing a 12-year-old girl in 2019 and that it went on for 3 years. Charges were first filed last year, but the case was dismissed because of misconduct during a grand jury proceeding. A new grand jury re-indicted Rogers in June, and his attorney asked for another dismissal, which the judge denied.
You have a skewed presentation where the evidence is focused on the complaint witness's story and they're minimizing the defendant's response to those allegations, which she adamantly denied and provided reasons why she would lie and make this story up.
There was never any witness statements or even from the prosecution or the grand jury counsel statements to the effect that, hey, you have to take all of this evidence as true.
Rogers' attorney said they'll, quote, continue to fight the unjust case, unquote. The restart of commercial boat tours in Lahaina next week is drawing concern from residents who say trespassing is already out of control. Our Darryl Huff has new reaction.
Lahaina's recovery has always been a balancing act between the demands of residents, businesses, cultural advocates, and visitors. Monday will be another test of that balance when Lahaina Harbor opens for limited ocean tourism and the county opens up more roads and parking areas.
I would look at this as definitely as an interim start, an interim opening, but a way to have some commercial activity resume in coordination with everyone.
Now that this thing went viral on the news, everybody is kind of coming up to me and telling me straight out, why are they opening up the town?
Cultural consultant Keamoku Kapu is not anti-tourist. His job is to protect historic areas in Lahaina's burn zone, which he says are already being impacted by trespassing by both visitors and locals, night and day.
But during the regular hours, the most frustrating thing for us is we get tourists coming in town and they don't know where to go, so they're peeing all over the place.
That's not a new concern. As soon as limited access for residents and workers was opened, tourists were offending the community by gawking at the destruction.
Disaster tourism is what we're really, really concerned about.
Even the limited opening of the harbor for 4 commercial operators and adjacent roads worries Kapu because the harbor is surrounded by historic and culturally sensitive sites, including burial memorials. Kapu's workers have been helping install barriers to reduce wandering into areas that are both sensitive and construction zones. The county is promising it will have parking ambassadors to control things.
The way it opens is going to be slow and measured and controlled compared to what it was before.
Captain David Jung will be offering whale watch tours from a 70-foot catamaran starting Monday. He says the tours will not add many people in the area, but will add jobs.
I'm just so happy our mayor and our governor is allowing us to get back to work.
It's in the best interest of tour operators and officials to keep the visitors under control, both for their own safety and to maintain good relations with the host community. Darryl Huff, Hawaii News Now.
Happy Aloha Friday. Here is your first alert weather for you. We are tracking heavy rain and the flash flooding threat as we go into Sunday. This is more Sunday afternoon into Monday and through Tuesday. Wind advisory also up for the Big Island summits due to, once again, the weather there. Let's go ahead and take a look real quickly at what you can expect. Northerly winds are going to turn towards Kona winds as we get into the afternoon hours. 79 degrees, your daytime high. Get the latest at HawaiiNewsNow.com.
Much mahalo, Billy V. Tensions between the United States and Venezuela are on the rise as the U.S. steps up military actions in the Caribbean with threats of even more actions, including on land. Erica Brown has more from Capitol Hill.
Air Force Lieutenant General Evan Pettis is now the acting head of U.S. military operations in the Caribbean after the former head of U.S. Southern Command, Admiral Alvin Halsey, retired early Friday. He announced his intentions in October, shortly after U.S. strikes on suspected Venezuelan drug boats began.
The challenges we face are complex, but working together and with our partners, we can and will make a lasting impact.
The leadership change comes as tensions rise between the U.S. and Venezuela. Earlier this week, the U.S. seized control of a crude oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast, with sources saying the administration is planning more seizures.
We're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world.
Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, called the seizure an act of piracy and has vowed to protect tankers exporting Venezuelan oil. Here on Capitol Hill, some lawmakers have criticized the oil tanker seizure as the White House pledges more military action against Venezuela.
We'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
The administration is also taking steps against Maduro's family, announcing new sanctions targeting 3 of Maduro's nephews, a businessman affiliated with him, and 6 shipping companies operating in the country's oil sector. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
And coming up next, it's that time of the year again. The Honolulu Marathon is just 2 days away. We'll take you to the pre-race expo. Plus, the Blaisdell Concert Hall will be filled with Christmas cheer beginning tonight. A preview of a holiday favorite with an island twist that's coming up after the break. The recently fired University of Michigan football coach appeared in court today, and we're learning more about the charges he's facing and what may have happened in the moments leading up to his shocking arrest this week. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
Former University of Michigan football coach Sharon Moore made no expression during his arraignment Friday as prosecutors detailed what he allegedly did at the home of his female assistant.
Barged his way into that apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life.
Moore faces 3 charges: felony home invasion, stalking, and entry without permission.
They had an intimate relationship for a number of years, defendant and victim, that our victim broke up with this defendant on Monday morning early, that there continued to be defendant making numerous phone calls and sending numerous texts from that time moving forward that she did not answer, did not respond to, and did not want.
Prosecutors say the woman told the university about the relationship and Moore was fired on Wednesday. The 39-year-old husband and father of 3 was reportedly making about $5.5 million a year. Bond was set at $25,000. Moore was ordered to wear a GPS monitor and told to avoid all contact with the victim.
He just threw it all away.
People within the Michigan community were shocked by the arrest.
It was kind of eye-opening that I guess it happens anywhere, and it's kind of appalling, really.
Moore will be back in court next month. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, it is officially marathon weekend in Honolulu, and thousands of runners are heading to the expo, which actually opened up yesterday. Casey Lund went there to see what runners can expect.
Aloha and happy race day weekend. We are stoked for the Honolulu Marathon, a record-setting number of participants running this race, 42,000 plus, and we know that there will be more because, yes, you can still sign up today and tomorrow. I want to talk about bib pickup and registration, everything you need to know about that because it's important. You need to bring your ID, especially since we have a lot of first-time runners. I'll talk about that in a moment. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. today, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday. So get down here, get your bib, and then check out all the amazing things that are part of this really awesome expo. They have speakers, all kinds of things, and you can get the lay of the land with David Monte, although he might be busy at the time. But we've been talking about the course map and the challenges with elevation, all the things that they do to keep runners and spectators safe, and that's a huge part of this. But I want to talk about my favorite thing, and that is at the finish line at Kapiolani Park. It's right around in here. That's the Malasada's tent. You guys had to bring in extra help for this.
Indeed. they're making 40,000 malasadas, which is probably some sort of world record in malasada making, but they had to buy more equipment to make them, so we have enough. So every finisher is guaranteed a hot malasada when they get over the line.
And that is such a rewarding thing. I always take one anyway because that's my assignment. I have to do the testing, right? And it's just fun. That being in that finisher's village, where people have their medals. They're celebrating this accomplishment that many of them maybe thought they never could do in their life. And they get a sweet treat, a banana, they relax and listen to some music and have a really good time. I'll be there. Come talk to me. But I want to talk a little bit about that. The people that are signing up for this race that have never ran a marathon before. What is the figure?
It's 40% of the field are first-timers.
That's wild. And can you give me an idea of what's happening? And I know there's some speculation, and maybe it's hard to tell, but some of the data we're seeing, the age group-wise, gives us some idea that people might just want to be around each other.
Yeah, and we've had a big surge in people in their 20s wanting to come and do the marathon, and they say it's pushback against too much time online, too much time in virtual world, and people want to do something that's real, that's healthy, that's outside.
I love it, and while you're doing it, there's no better place to do it than Hawaii, because you think about the fact that we have 63 countries, some 65% of people are not from here, so people want to come. The thousands of Japanese people, again, Japan Airlines sponsoring this. It's just such a wonderful event. I want to talk really quickly, though, about the other 2 events that are tied into this weekend, the Merry Mile and the other race that we have as well.
Yeah, the Merry Mile is on Saturday, right on Kalakaua Avenue. It has about 3,000 people who are just doing it for fun. Some of them will be wearing costumes. There's always somebody who's going as a T-Rex down the street. And then after all the citizen runners participate, there's an elite mile with professional level athletes, 12 Olympians, and there might even be a world record.
And we have elite athletes that are returning, the winners that were here last year are back, and that's pretty special. So
It is very special.
Mahalo, David. Thank you so much for all
Thank
you do for the entire team. We want to thank the Honolulu Marathon team for putting this event on, including us to be a small part of it. They have some wonderful sponsors, Garmin, Japan Airlines, of course, the presenting sponsor, and just a really, really amazing team that makes this all come together every year. And this is a record-setting year. We'll bring it all to you live on Sunday morning from 6 to 8. Watch Sunrise Honolulu Marathon Special on K5. Back to you for now.
Thank you very much, Casey. A holiday favorite returns to the blazed-out concert hall this weekend just in time for Christmas. Ballet Hawaii's Nutcracker combines the classic presentation with a Hawaiian theme. Set in 1858, the performances will feature historical characterizations of Queen Liliuokalani and Washington Place resident Mary Dominus. Another adaptation is the famous Waltz of the Snowflakes, which takes place on the slopes of Mauna Kea.
10 years ago, we were always doing the Nutcracker, and we thought, we live in this beautiful community, in these beautiful islands. We wanted to give it a Hawaii-inspired theme.
Hawaii's Nutcracker opens tonight at 7:30. There's also a 7:30 p.m. show tomorrow night and a final showing on Sunday at 2 p.m. Tickets are available via Ticketmaster.com or at the NBC box office. Well, here's a live look at Honolulu Harbor. It is absolutely beautiful on this Aloha Friday. Billy V has your first alert forecast for what we can expect on the weekend when we come back.
Now, First Alert Weather with Billy V.
All right, thank you very much. On this Friday, Aloha Friday, First Alert Weather, we're going to start off with the surfing. Just give you those numbers just to kind of get them out of the way. North Shore 7 to 10, slightly smaller tomorrow. 3 to 5 holding on the west-facing shoreline. Everything else is smaller than that. Your UV index is at 4. All right, let's go hour by hour for today. We're going to see mostly sunny skies. Look at this, a lot of sunshine as we go here through the afternoon. 79 degrees right now, and as we take a look into the evening, that's going to be some cooler temperatures just because of the clear skies. It allows the heat to emanate into the atmosphere, bring the temperatures down, be nice and comfortable. All right, here's where we go into our first alert day, Sunday and Monday. We have a cold front that's approaching our Hawaiian Islands. So today's going to be a pretty nice day, although we do have the Kona winds, light and variable winds for Saturday. Sunday, this is a transition day. We start to see sprinkles in the morning as that cold front gets closer, Ni'ihau, Kauai. It'll start to cross over into Oahu That's going to be about 5 o'clock in the morning, the start of the race time. Not a whole lot there until about noon hour. Once we get into the afternoon, it starts to ramp up as far as the showers. They'll become heavier as we get into the evening hours. Monday also, we're expecting another 12 to 15 hours of possible heavy showers, and they could be thunderstorms at that. As the cold front passes over Oahu, it'll go towards the island of Maui County, and then it'll start to retrograde back towards Oahu and Kauai and finally pull away. So we'll have that residual moisture here, and then it starts to clear up Wednesday and Thursday. But look at those Kona winds. They will still be prevalent in our forecast. Get the latest on air online on your mobile device and at HawaiiNewsNow.com.
And get your umbrellas out. Thank you very much, Billy V. Hawaii could still get a pretty impressive show in the night sky. One of the best meteor showers of the year peaks on Saturday night and should be visible here in Hawaii. The Geminids are known for their bright, frequent fireballs with up to 120 meteors on the hour under ideal conditions. The best viewing window runs from about midnight to about 4 a.m., though some may be visible as early as 9 p.m. Miami's mayor just pardoned a pig named 6'7". At Miami's annual pig pardon ceremony, Mayor Daniela Core spared a pig named 6'7", making him a living tribute to the viral meme. Have a good afternoon. Stay with us for more news coming up at 4.